I'm going to start with Tupac. We're going to start with the fact that Tupac famously said, for those of you that didn't necessarily listen to rap, that we've got money for war, but we can't feed the poor. And the reason that I bring this up is for two reasons. Number one, in order to get Maduro, the estimated cost is $3 billion. I can guarantee you that a lot of Americans would say, yes, there's a valid warrant and things like that, but for the cost of $3 billion, let's put our money somewhere else. Number one. Number two, Professor, you talked about the fact that if there wasn't the loss of life as it relates to our service members, or if this was just kind of quick boots on the ground for a second, then it wasn't war. So just answer this question for me. Would you consider what is taking place currently in the Middle East a war because we continue to have our sons and daughters returned in caskets to the United States? That's a yes or no?
No, the analysis for Iran is different.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you agree with me then? Yes?
I didn't say that.
Okay, it's different analysis. So I'm just going to go with you agree with me because this is clearly a war and it's unconstitutional. That is the bottom line. And frankly, as it relates to Venezuela, I think that we still will have some time to determine exactly how bad it is. Because imagine for 2 seconds that you had fishermen and sailors that were coming from the United States, and Venezuela all of a sudden started bombing our people, saying, oh, no, you're bringing guns. Because let me be clear, America does their fair share of nonsense in other countries. We tend to supply everybody with the guns. We flood this world with guns everywhere, right? So let's say they said, you know what, we don't want all those guns going to the gangsters in our communities. So we're just going to start blowing people up. And frankly, legally, that may work for them. You know why? We have a constitution and not everybody does. And so it is offensive to sit here and engage in this conversation as someone who practiced criminal law. And my God, everyone that I had, no matter what they were accused of, even if they were accused of capital murder, they were given an opportunity to actually show up in court and face their accusations, not be killed. So the justification, I don't understand why we are trying to make it partisan. It should not be partisan to just go and blow up these boats. Are you saying, Professor, that you believe that blowing up these boats because somebody believes it? You know what? Let me do it this way. Let's say they are drug traffickers. Do you believe that it is constitutional for the United States to blow up people that are accused of being drug traffickers?
So it's not going to be a yes or no question. If I could take
okay, then I'm gonna stop you there because I only got so much time. And Professor, I was really loving on you because you came from South Texas, which is down in Houston, not too far from the University of Houston, where I got my law degree. But it is very clear that it is unconstitutional for us in the United States. Let me give y'all another issue that I don't understand if y'all see it the way that I do. There's this little thing called the Epstein files. There's a lot of people that have been found liable, charged, all kinds of stuff, from Prince Andrew and Peter Mandelson, from Norwegian officials, the former prime minister, and the former ambassador, all of these different people, right? Some would argue, especially since there was international trafficking that was taking place, some would argue that our president, whose name is found over and over and over and over in these files, may have engaged in, say, child trafficking, sex trafficking. They may come to that conclusion. Now, with that being the understanding, if there are other countries that believe, because they believe in actually holding people accountable, okay? So they say, you know what? There were some girls from England or wherever, because there were people from different countries, and they say, you know what, we gonna just come and we're gonna drop in on America. We're going to bomb America. We're going to kill civilians in America because you know what? We have a warrant for his arrest. Whether it's for the child sex trafficking in the Epstein files because America doesn't want to do their job, or whether we're talking about violating international law, whether we're talking about going and just randomly killing people. I can tell you that every single one of you that is sticking up for him right now would be screaming from the rooftops The analysis has to be the same. I am so offended that I am still paying my daggone student loans for law school, and it seems like none of it matters nowadays. Because seemingly what we do is we twist the law to justify. The analysis is the same. If you would be outraged if they came and bombed our country to go after him to arrest him, if you're listening, that I don't know. I don't know if people are doing this. But if they decided to do that because of the Epstein files or because of violating international law, you all would be against it.
In today's Sleep, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett raises a set of questions that are worth taking a moment to consider. She opens by referencing Tupac Shakur, drawing on his well-known line about funding war while poverty remains unaddressed. It isn't simply used for effect, it quietly establishes the direction of everything she is about to say. Her core concern is about priorities. She points to the readiness to commit billions of dollars toward foreign interventions, including actions connected to Nicolas Maduro, while many Americans continue to face unmet basic needs. That gap between the two is where her argument begins to take hold. She then moves towards something she treats as more fundamental, the question of how war is defined. She asks plainly, what is taking place in the Middle East right now, if not war? The question is simple, but the answer she receives offers little clarity. And for her, that absence of clarity matters. When service members are sent abroad and families are receiving their loved ones home in the most difficult of circumstances, describing those events in softer terms starts to feel like a way of stepping around a harder truth. Her tone remains steady throughout, though the concern behind her words is consistently present. She then offers a hypothetical, one meant to reframe the conversation. She asks the audience to consider how it would feel if another country chose to act against American civilians on the basis of suspicion alone, without a trial, without legal process, without any opportunity to respond. The scenario is intentionally unsettling because that unease is precisely what she wants the audience to sit with. Drawing on her background in law, she returns to a principle she considers foundational, that even those accused of the gravest offenses are entitled to a proper defense. Her question is whether that principle carries any weight beyond national borders, or whether it quietly fades when applied to others. She also makes a point of keeping this outside of partisan framing. In her view, the issue isn't one of political alignment. It's about whether fairness and legal consistency are applied uniformly or selectively depending on who is involved. The Epstein files come up as well, and she uses them to extend her broader point. If other nations were to adopt similar reasoning, taking action based on allegations alone, they could, by that same logic, justify targeting the United States. Most Americans, she notes, would find that completely unacceptable. So the question she raises is a measured one. If that standard would be rejected when directed at us, why is it considered reasonable when directed at others? Throughout the clip, her delivery stays calm and grounded. There is no heightened emotion, no sharp shifts in energy. The weight of her argument comes through in the steadiness of how she presents it. Toward the close, she brings in something more personal. She reflects on her years of legal study, the financial cost that came with it, and the quiet difficulty of watching the principles she spent years learning appear to bend depending on the situation. That reflection is what gives the segment its lasting quality. Because at its heart, her message isn't tied to one policy or one moment in the news. It's about whether the same principles hold consistently, regardless of geography, regardless of politics, and regardless of who happens to be on the receiving end. That is the question she leaves behind. Sonnet 4.6